Hello, Shauna here from Wellness Seeker. On this, I think it's Wednesday night. It is bad when you're starting to get confused about what night you are. So it's Wednesday night, and tonight is the Masterclass, the live Masterclass for getting unstuck. So hello, Miss Carla Devine, I can see you there. Welcome. So tonight's masterclass is getting unstuck, and it's the idea that we can create the life that we want, the life that we're dreaming about, the life that we desire, the life that we know in the bottom of our bellies that we want. And that's what tonight's class is. So hopefully everybody can hear me. Carla, can you let me know if you can hear me and that you can see me okay, that the sound and all is okay? I'm going to actually let everybody into a wee trade secret before we get started. Look what I have handy, Miss Divine. Well, this is an oil called Balance, and I have been burning it and using it at home, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it's Carla, Soul Coach Carla's oil, and it's absolutely wondrous and beautiful. I think there's orange and lavender, and Carla will be able to tell you on that, and it's beautiful. It really does give you a lovely balance. It's lovely. So okay, so we are here because if you're stuck in a life, in a job that you don't like, that you're struggling in, if you're stuck in a place that you don't know how to get out of, if you are in this really difficult place in yourself, maybe it's not even so difficult, but it's just grinding, it's just uneasy, and you want more, and you know there's more, but you just don't know how to go about it, then this class is for you, this masterclass is for you. You'll want to stay tuned because it's going to be brilliant. It's filled with steps on how to, any live training that I do, I try to make it kind of as tangible as possible, and that's massive. So tonight we're going to take you through the steps that are required to build a life from the inside out, and that's what this is really about. So if you're really interested in building a life from the inside out, then stay tuned. Also, what I would say is, and this might sound very direct, but I'm going to be really honest. If you're into quick fixes and kind of getting from A to B and creating something really quickly to get you out of a fix or out of a difficult position, this isn't the class for you. This is really a class for you if you're really wanting to dig deep inside yourself, understand yourself at a different level, and then move forward at an amazing pace. And that's what this is about. It's massive. So without it, if whoever's on here is, I know the Fiona M. Mac is saying that she's stuck. Anybody else here stuck? Anybody stuck in a particular place? If they want to let me know in the comments, that would be brilliant. So is there anybody experiencing that in their life? Is anybody in that place? Now, some of us aren't really maybe stuck in a job. Maybe you're in a job that you hate. Maybe you're in a job that you love. Maybe you're in a life that you love and that you're liking, but you keep hitting these roadblocks. That's also another form of stuck. So you don't have to be stuck not knowing what you want. Maybe some of us know what we want, know our why, know what it is, but don't know, keep getting kind of tangled up. The guy put a message up, I think it was a beautiful video at the weekend, and somebody messaged to say that they followed their heart, they followed their dreams, and it ended up so difficult. And maybe that's the situation. Maybe you have followed your heart and it hasn't worked out. And so what I want to help you with tonight is some of the reasons that happens. So for any of those reasons, if you're on that page and that you want to get unstuck, you want to live a life from the inside out, then this class is for you tonight. Excuse me. So without further ado, the first big step for me, and that I would share with you, the first big step for me in getting myself unstuck was to understand me. Now, what does that mean? This is big stuff, guys, okay? It's very easy, I think, to have this idea of what you think you should do. I think I would like to be a nurse. I think I'd like to be a doctor. I think I'd like to do, I think I'd like to love. When we come from that thinking place, when we come from that thinking, I think I will, I think I might, then that is where the beginning of the difficulty starts. You wouldn't believe how many times I thought that I wanted to do something. You wouldn't believe the many times I thought that I wanted something in my life, that I wanted a new job, a new career before I started the Wellness Seeker. The thoughts would have drove me mad. But what happened with those thoughts was there was never any action. Can anybody identify with that is here? I thought so much when I was in my confusion of myself, and I see this so many times in my clients, when I'm in that confusing place of self, trying to work out what I want, where I'm going, what is. When I was in that confusing place of self, my head would try and give me all of these answers. Do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. And nothing ever materialised. Nothing materialised from that place of thinking. Not a single solitary sausage. I got so far, Googled a bit, let flat. There I was, back in the same old pattern of feeling stuck, not knowing. And one of the biggest things that actually transformed that for me is when I went inside. Now, what does inside mean? But I am telling you, so if you take this journey, if you're stuck and you start here, if you don't know what you want, if you don't know where you're going, if you're stuck in that place, then do these wee things, do these wee tiny tips that I'm going to show you. Go inside. Now, what does go inside mean? Well, go inside is very simple. What is your why? What lights you up? What makes you feel amazing? When do you become your best version of yourself? When are you your most authentic person? When are you not pretending? When are you not living that underneath that mask? When are you yourself? When do you come alive? And what are you doing when that happens? When are you your very best? That is absolutely massive. Is there anybody here that knows that knows when they're their best, that knows when they're authentic, that knows when, because when you are attached at that level, you're starting to see the stuff that feeds your spirit. You're starting to see the stuff that you were here to do. What does that look like? What is happening in that? When are you just, look, this is when I am myself. This is when I am myself. When I am working with the girls in the academy, I am myself. I'm passionate. I'm full of life. I'm full of purpose. I'm teaching. I'm mentoring. I'm leading. I'm discussing kind of what I've learned about personal development and self-development and in my journey. And I am alive in myself. This is not put on. See, when I tap into what I really, 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 really love and what really lights me up, this is what makes me come alive. I've tapped into loads of other things and I was alive for about 2 seconds and then back to square one again. So ask yourself, the first thing is, when am I most alive? When am I most myself? When am I really brilliant? I'm trying to read your comments here. Laura's saying, okay, Laura's not even sure what lights her up. Start searching, Laura. That's the first place. Because I can guarantee you, if you come from a place of your head, if you're not led in feeling, what'll happen is you'll hit the brick wall. You'll not even get out of the starting blocks. So check in what lights you up. When are you yourself? When are you your authentic self? When do you feel amazing? When do you walk away and think, God, I wish I was around that more. I wish I was doing that more. I could do that all day and it wouldn't be a job. I had a conversation with one of the academy members this evening and she was very kindly asking me, was it okay? Because she says, you work bloody a lot. And I was saying that I felt like that a lot of it wasn't work. a lot of it didn't feel like work. Like, this doesn't feel like work tonight. This feels like it's having a conversation with, you know, some lovely people that are all into the same things, and it feels like a conversation with your besties. This is what this feels like for me, and it authentically does. Even when I'm doing the coaching on a Monday night, it feels authentic. It feels like it's really connected to you. It doesn't feel like work. So what could you do? What would it look like not to feel like work? What would you be doing? What would you be doing and feel like you never worked a day in your life? Now that sounds really cliched, but I can tell you, it is amazing the power that comes behind it. So ask yourself some of those questions. Dig deep inside yourself. When am I myself? When am I authentic? When am I aligned with my passion? When am I aligned with my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my passion? And here's some of the more deeper questions. If you've got those questions sorted out, then maybe dig a wee bit deeper than that. And some of the questions that are a wee bit deeper than that are, what am I on this earth to do? Now, that's a massive question, I know. What am I on this earth to do? Now, when some of that stuff starts to appear, which is what happened for me, it started to kind of show itself. I had this long journey with rediscovering myself, getting rid of anxiety. You know, I had this long journey of digging deep internally, becoming my best self, becoming who I really was, getting rid of some of the limiting beliefs. And when I started to ask some of these questions of myself, the answers that were coming were scary. Because the answers that were coming were, show people how you got over your own anxiety, show people how to get rid of their limiting beliefs, show people the way, show people how this is possible. And that is petrifying. It was petrifying for me, because it required a whole different level of thinking. It required a whole different level of being. It required so much more of me than I had ever been willing to give. But it also asked lots of questions. Like, you know, that wee laughing voice in the back of your head, like, are you having a laugh? Like, who are you? Who are you to do that? What makes you different? So all of that stuff started to stir inside me. But there was one massive thing, and I would say this to, and I say this to everybody in the academy. Once you get over yourself, once you get over your big fat ego, once you get over how to look, once you get over that part of you, and you ask yourself, what am I here to do? And who am I here to help? Who am I here to serve? Don't make it about you. Make it about the job. Make it about what you're here to do. And when you can do that, if that makes any sense to anybody, when you can do that, let me know if it does make sense. When you cannot make it about you, when you can make it about the greater good, when you can make it about outside yourself, you get this wonderful traction. I'm going to talk a lot about traction tonight. But you get this wonderful traction that carries you straight forward. And it's kind of like magic dust. Again, do you see the difference between coming from that place of feeling, coming from that place of tapping into your passion, tapping into your purpose, tapping into yourself, tapping into why you're here, tapping into what you want to do with your life, tapping into what makes you powerful, what makes you authentic, what has you buzzing out of your absolute boots, what has you just in this beautiful place, as opposed to what I think I need to do and what's the steps that I need to do. If you go that direction, those steps will be blocked at every single step will be blocked, because you're not aligned. So see, once you get aligned with your true self, see, once you ask yourself your why questions, your what questions, your what are you here to do, why am I here to do it, what lights me up, when am I my best self, see, when you ask yourself those questions and you get aligned, then what you get is huge momentum. You get a felt sense momentum that carries you through. It absolutely carries you through to the next stage. And this is where most people go wrong. They don't tap in. So your first step is to tap in. And out of everybody that's here tonight, how many of you actually know your why? How many of you know your what? How many of you know, I know Laura was saying it doesn't light, she doesn't know what lights her up. How many of you actually know those details? How many of you are in that place? Alignment. Yeah, alignment. Carla's saying alignment with self is totally the connection. And there's a few girls here that are in the academy with me, and this is the stuff that we work at. This is our foundational piece, that we do nothing unless we're aligned. And even like when I'm doing the coaching, and I'm doing the coaching with the girls, and I'm pushing them to do stuff that maybe is outside their comfort zone, they're always checking what's aligned with them before they'll do anything, which is brilliant, which is amazing. But my job as a mentor to keep pushing them, into greater versions of themselves. But they'll always check where they're aligned, and that's an amazing place to start. So align yourself with yourself, align yourself with your passion, align yourself with your purpose, and keep going. Yeah. Shauna, absolutely, brilliant, Shauna. So the next stage now is a wee bit of a wishy-washy one. Now, but it's imperative that you take this step. Now, depending on how you learn, depending on how you process information, the next step could be just a thinking process, or it could be a writing process, or it could be a speaking process. Whatever one you find is aligned with your learning style the best. But the next thing that you have to do is empty that dream out. Now, what does that mean? Well, once you know your why, once you know your what, once you know all that purpose stuff, then you start to get some traction. You start to get some structure on what it is you want to do. And at this stage, where you want to live, what you want to be doing, who you want to be doing it with, what kind of place you want to be doing it in, you start to get some structure on your why and your what. And what you need to do is dream. Allow yourself the space to dream. Okay? So if you're not aligned, if the first step isn't done, you can't do the second. Because there's no way. I wanted to open check this out. About 15 years ago, I wanted to open a baby shop. And that's like, kind of, could you imagine? It would have been well gone by now, because I was not aligned with it. So what I would suggest that you do is make sure you're aligned first, and then dream. And empty the dreams out. Dream it, think it, feel it. Like really get in touch with the dreams. See where you are. See what you're doing. See what building you're in. Like the dreams that I have for the Wellness Seeker are humongous. Sometimes they scare me. I see us in a big building employing loads of local people. And what I also see is that I can see the building and all that we're in. I know where we're going to be. I also can see that we're going to have this what I'm calling a mentor program for people who want to learn social media, that want to learn personal development. Maybe people that haven't had the opportunity, that are at a disadvantage, like I was when I was a young girl, that maybe didn't come out of school with any exams, but wants to work, that wants to learn, that wants to be in a high value environment. I see that, and I know that's coming. And I hold on to that, and like I'm so passionate about that. That will happen. We're now moving into we're going to have 3 paid members of the Wellness Seeker team. It started last year. We won. I've seen it every step of the way, and I see it bigger, and I see it about more. It's not about me, it's about the service of others. And so I'm holding this dream constantly, being in it, seeing who's beside me, seeing what we're doing, seeing how we're being of service, seeing how many programs that we can put out that can lift people into a higher version of themselves. That I'm being in that dream, feeling that dream, seeing that dream. So what I would like you to do is I'd like you to put all of that on paper, speak to somebody, speak it into existence. I have been speaking this into existence for years. Ask any of my friends. Some of my good friends have literally walked the streets of Derry with me talking before any of this was real, before there was an office in Clarendon Street, before there was anything, before there was even a name. Like one of my very good friends, I don't know if she's here, Pat, would actually claim that she gave the name to the Wellness Seeker because she had listened to it for that long. I've been speaking this into existence for years before it has come. And that's the kind of effort, it's not even effort, I wouldn't say it's effort, but that's what happens when you're aligned. It kind of is like you're spilling over, that you're spilling out, that there's no stopping this. It kind of is like there's a force that pulls you, that is bigger than you'll ever be, and that has more traction than you'll ever have. And so empty that dream out, find somebody who's going to listen to it, torture the life out of them, run after them, empty it out, empty it onto paper, empty it, even speak to it in your phone and play it back to yourself. Find people who will engage with you. Engage with yourself, see it, believe it, and I'm not talking about manifesting it. I'm talking about just getting into contact with it. This is vital. So it's absolutely massive. Brilliant, Fiona. Fiona's saying the videos always help her with alignment. Brilliant. Thank you, Anita. So that's absolutely massive. So dream it, get it out. Now why? Now this is big, okay? The reason that we dream it, the reason that we get it out, the reason is alignment, and it creates traction and it creates movement, and that is all brilliant. But here is where most people get stuck. Here's the second part. The first part that gets stuck at is the not aligning with themselves, and the second part that gets stuck at is right after the dream. So how many of you have actually sat down with a dream in your hearts and dreamt it out and know that you're aligned but got stuck? If there's anybody here, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Give me hearts, give me thumbs, and let me know. Because this next part is where most of us get stuck. When we start to dream, when we start to kind of dream it, when we start to be in it, yes, Margaret, when we start to dream it, when we start to become involved in it, what happens next is pretty amazing, and it happens to everybody. There is nobody exempt from this next two parts, okay? So when you are listening to this, if you can give me a heads up where you're stuck. If you're stuck at number 1 or number 2, let me know. But two things happen when you start to dream. Your dream gets interrupted. Yes, Joanne. Joanne knows rightly. Your dream starts to get interrupted. And what happens is logic comes. So there's two things that interrupt the dream. The how and the why. Let me explain. The how starts to creep in. But how are you going to do that? But you don't know anything about that. But sure, she tried that and she didn't get anywhere, so you're not going to get anywhere. But how's that going to happen? And then the minutiae of the how. But how do you get from there to there? How do you get from A to B? How do you do from C to D? How does all of that work? How? I mean, I can't see that happening. And because you don't have the information for the how is absolutely heartbreaking. The how is where the brakes are put on this dream. Now, if we go back to the first part, right, the first part that we talked about, which is the aligning part can be confusing. Once you get the aligning part right, the confusion lifts. And then what happens is once you get to the dreaming part and then get to the how part is just exhausting. So in the first part, you're confused and exhausted, and now you're exhausted again. Does that make any sense to anybody? Please let me know if that makes sense. Am I speaking your language, or am I understanding these? Is this where you all are? The how can be both confusing and exhausting. Now, here's what's really, 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 really important about the how. And this is like, if I told you I'll explain this now, and then I'll go on to that. The how is so massive because we're so logical, and we have to see the way forward. We have to see the steps. We have to know it's possible, because we just can't go out there on blind hope, and we have to see how. We have to see the steps. We have to know our way forward. Now, if you're not aligned, you will never get over the how part. Why? Because if you're not aligned, if it's not your passion, if it's not your purpose, if it's not your dream, then the how will stop you. Because you won't have enough energy to answer every single how. Now tell me if that makes sense. You will not have enough energy to answer every how. If you are aligned, if you are in full flow with this dream, if you are fully passionate, the how will interrupt your dream, but you will bust that how's backside, because your passion will make you answer the how at every single stage. You wouldn't believe the amount of hows that it has taken for me to get to this stage. And I've answered every how. And my husband has looked at me and said, how do you sit there hour after hour understanding computer systems that was going to help me build this business? How do you sit there understanding how to use Facebook Live? How are you doing this? And you know why? Because there's no how that's going to stop me. But see, if you're not aligned, that how will just take the rug from underneath you. The passion, Fiona, is kept because the dream is real and I'm just connected and I'm aligned. So go back and check with your alignment, Fiona, if you're getting stuck there. Because the how, there was no way. Like I have joined coaching groups in America to learn. I have paid an absolute fortune for people to help me, to bring me forward, and I've been in the best groups and the best kind of coaching groups in America with some amazing, you'd see them all over Facebook and all over Instagram with some amazing people, and feeling like this wee dairy girl in the middle of it all, but wanting to learn, willing to do whatever it took to get me to where I needed to get to. And I'm not even close to it yet. I'm only getting started, I really am. So the how you will be able to bust through that how if you're aligned, I promise you. Now, people have started already speaking to the why. The why is different from the how. The how interrupts your dream, but the why interrupts your dream. And the why I call the why me. What the self-doubt that comes. The why. Why should I have this dream? Why is that possible for me? What is it about me that's so special? Is that really real for me? Can I really do that? Have I really got what it takes? So the why is all of the kind of self-doubt. The why is all of the whispers that whispers, but you're rubbish. Or they're all going to find out. They're going to know. You're going to be exposed. It's not going to happen. The why is all of the self-doubt that you have inside you. All the limiting beliefs that you've ever had will come out to play. And they'll come out to torture you. And when you are in your dream, when you're in that dream of what you want for your life, when you're in that dream place and you're dreaming and you're visualizing, you're seeing the why, I don't think so, the self-doubt, the limiting beliefs, all kind of niggle and kind of tap at you and remind you how your dream is not going to happen. So if the hows don't get you, the whys will get you, or I'll try to get you at least. So the whys are massive, and I'm going to kind of try and categorize the whys. So that the reason I'm categorizing the whys is so that you can spot the whys. For me, the whys are kind of in groups. So when you hear these whispers, try and identify them in groups. That'll help you kind of at least understand that there's not 9 million of them. There's probably about 4 categories of them. The first category for me is the self-doubt, the self-talk, the limiting beliefs. Now, we don't have 9 million limiting beliefs. We've probably got a handful. That's the good news, that you've probably got a handful of kind of what you can't do. They are limiting beliefs, what you're not capable of, or that kind of negative stuff that's sitting in you. There's a handful of them. Now, they can be sore, they can be so sore, and they can be so debilitating. Where the alignment is confusing, and where the how stuff is just exhausting. This why stuff can be debilitating, because so many of us are believing our own limiting beliefs. We're believing that we're not good enough. We're believing that we're not going to get there, and that's absolutely massive. So the self-belief is one, and they are limiting beliefs. But the other one is massive. The other one is what is possible, is what I would call abundance blocks. So is this world an abundant place? You know, are you deserving of part of this fantastic world? And is it going to be good? And is it going to be great? And so this dream that you have, is it actually realistically possible? So it's these abundance blocks. Does anybody have these abundance blocks where they think, that dream is only for her. That dream is only for people on the other side of the world. That big living your best life, coming from this wonderful place, isn't really a thing that I can have. Not old me living in this wee town or this wee city. That's not something that's possible for me. Let me know if that abundance block is something that you have wrestled with, because they are different from limiting beliefs. They are different from beliefs of self. They are beliefs about the world. And so what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to pinpoint those. Is this a limiting belief or is this an abundance belief? And then there's other things like money blocks. Like, can I really have the money? Can I really? And the money's not the problem, but the money to start whatever you need to start, if it's a business, or the abundance to kind of lift up into this dream. So we have money blocks and we have abundance blocks. And abundance is different from money blocks. Money blocks is all, who am I to be successful? Money blocks isn't just money, but it's who am I to be successful? Who am I to be what I want to be? Who am I to live my best life? Sure, I'm only. So we have money blocks and abundance blocks, and then we have this self-doubt, these limiting beliefs of self. And that is what they can be so debilitating, because you're believing them, you're in them, you're understanding them, and they absolutely stop your dream. Now, what I would say to you about those is, which brings me on to the next point, is that in order to fulfill your life from the inside out, in order to be the best version of you, in order to get this dream off the ground, you need to have a wellness mindset. Now, what is a wellness mindset? A wellness mindset is basically the ability to understand what those small whispers in the back of your head is. Now, it's the ability to understand that those abundance blocks, that money blocks, those not enough blocks, those self-doubts, all of the details of that, it's the ability to understand. This is the simplicity of a wellness mindset, is that they are old wounds, old thoughts, old feelings coming from old experiences, and that they are not true. Now, that is easier said than done, I understand that. But what that mindset will do, just the mindset, is it'll start to separate you out from them, from those feelings, if that makes sense. It'll start to you'll be able to see them as not real, as not true, as not part of you. But when you have that idea of a wellness mindset, what you can do is you can see them as an old wound that have come from somewhere that it's not true, and you can start to separate them. And what happens is, as you move on in your dream, if you've got that mindset that the universe, this world, starts to show you things. This is another part of the wellness mindset. This is part of keeping you on your journey for your dream. You wouldn't believe the many times the universe has, or depends what way you want to word that, but this world, this universe shows me things gives me problems, gives me things that trigger my difficult belief. And I all of a sudden get caught in this, whoa, what's happening? This difficult feeling, this kind of tension. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? Because I have a wellness mindset, because I understand what's happening, I can turn into it. And when I turn into it, I can learn from it. I can hear it. I can hear the whispers, Denise. I can hear them. I can identify them. I can see them as separate from me. I can see them as a wound, and I can learn. I can learn what limiting belief is coming up, what abundance block is coming, what money block is coming, what is coming here. And I can then at least attend to it with the care that it needs to move me in the next direction. If you don't have a wellness mindset, you'll get stuck in the why. You'll get stuck in those limitations. If you don't have that mindset as a starter, you will not turn into those difficulties. You will not turn towards them. You will not hear what they're trying to say. You will not listen to them, and you'll get stuck and you'll give up on your dream because it's too difficult. Now tell me if this is making any sense to those of you that are on live, because this is big stuff. I get it. And it's not conventional stuff. It's not conventional kind of just, think it okay and it'll be okay. It's work, but it's work that's absolutely worth doing, I promise you. So a wellness mindset where your ability to turn into those limitations are vital for your success. So every time a block comes up, every time a difficulty comes up, you use it as an opportunity to grow. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You use it as an opportunity to grow. It is the necessary work, Denise, absolutely. You turn it in and turn it in and turn it in. And you skip on like a happy child for about 3 weeks, and then bam, something comes. Something comes that blocks your progress. Something comes that creates difficulty in you. But because you have a wellness mindset, you turn on and you hear it and you listen to it, and it moves and you shift it, and it doesn't show itself again. But if you don't listen, it'll repeat itself 100 times. Now, sometimes I'm so busy, I'll be like, oh God, please don't give me any difficulty. Please don't give me any hard times. I just want you to go away. I don't want to learn. I don't want to have, sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, it's not all sweetness and light. Sometimes you're working so hard at building this dream that you don't even want to listen to what it is the difficulty, and you let it sit and linger for a wee while. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to turn around and look at this because I know I need to grow, and then once you learn that lesson, you're fast forward. It's amazing. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, the next thing then is you have to start creating traction in your dream. Okay, so if you're aligned with yourself, if you're dreaming your dream, if you know your why, if you know what you want, if you're doing all of that, if you're busting through your house, if you are then being able to turn into all your limitations, all your difficulties, or if you're using them to your advantage now, then you've got traction. Okay, and what happens then is you start to get more traction by moving into the dream again. So you come back into the dream again, which is massive. And you're back in the dream again. You're back in the dream of what you want. You're back in the dream of, you're back into that. Now what you're doing now is because you've got more traction. You've cleared the limiting beliefs. You've busted through the house. You're not afraid of any of the limiting beliefs that are holding back this dream that you want for your life. You're not afraid of them anymore. You're busting through them. So now what you're going to try and do is you're going to try and create more traction in the dream. Now what's really important here now is you start to see the dream. You start to see whatever life you want, whatever it is you want in life, you start to see it more vividly. You start to speak it more clearly. You start to see it as you want it. Now what that does at this stage is it creates, this is where the law of attraction comes in now. This is where you can use the law of attraction. You can use the laws of the universe to your advantage. Now what starts to happen now is that feeling that you have, that knowing that this is coming, that knowing that no matter what blocks you have, no matter what is coming your way, now that knowing starts to create an energy in you. It starts to create a doing in you. Because we are not motivated from our heads. You all know that. You've listened to me long enough. We're motivated by our feeling. So when we feel something's right, when we feel the possibility of something, when we see it in our mind, when we feel it in our heart, when we practice it, when we're speaking it with a volume that's massive, then we start then to see it coming. We start to see the world then, the universe starting to kind of show up the possibilities. But what's really, really, really important is that you start to get traction at a feeling level first. If you don't get traction at a feeling level, which is what all of the other steps that I have just pointed out, if you don't get traction at a feeling level, then you will come up against the next block and the next block. And you really have to ease into that traction. Now, what's massive about that, and which is brilliant, if you follow those steps, here's what should happen. You should hit an upper limit problem. Now, what is an upper limit problem? An upper limit problem is where you're living into your dream and you're ready for the next stage. Now, is there anybody here that's at that stage? That's a great stage to be in, where you're hitting these upper limits, where you've hit the ceiling of what you thought is possible, and you think, oh God, I can't go any further, or can I go any further? And what happens when you hit an upper limit problem is the new set of limiting beliefs. Can you go any further? A new set of abundance blocks comes. A new set of difficulty comes. And you start the whole process again. And it's from that process, and this is what's so vital, it's not a destination, it's a journey. It's a journey of becoming. It's the same internal journey, but when you want something in life, it's a journey. And at every stage, you're growing, developing, creating, growing, developing, creating, and you're moving the entire time. It's what's called growth. It's what's called personal development. It's what's called continuously living under your best life. All of the big players in this world didn't arrive. This is what they've done. They've moved incrementally. Anybody that you see, anybody that you admire in whatever industry you're in, didn't arrive. They did this work silently. Maybe they didn't make it public, but they absolutely, everybody that has found their way and is living their life and living a life from the inside out and living their dream have done this work. Now, I'm going to add a few caveats to this, all right? That is the steps, okay? But I'm going to add a few caveats that I have come to experience myself. I have so much passion. I know it's just in me. I just want to reach as many people as I can with this message, with the messages that I have. I have so much passion, and I have so much that if you are not careful, it can become unbalanced. Now, what does that mean? For me, I wasn't strict enough around my non-negotiables. So, what are your non-negotiables in your life? My non-negotiables are my family. My non-negotiables are my husband and my children and our family time. And when that started to suffer, which it has done in the past 2 years, if I'm honest, because I just have so much traction and so much movement, I then start to get off balance. And the dream starts to become a bit of a nightmare. And that is my absolute, total and utter honesty days. Whilst I love what I'm doing, if I was going to lose my family in any way, I would be devastated. And so you have to understand before you go into your dream what your non-negotiables are. Because then, as you're moving through this process, you can ensure that your non-negotiables are met at every stage. Now tell me, does that make any sense? Tell me what you are thinking. We're nearly coming to the end here. Tell me, does that make sense to you? Are you following this? Do you see where the non-negotiables fit in? Are you seeing what's happening? Okay, and getting loads of hearts. Yeah, Billy saying believing, feeling is believing. Yeah, absolutely. So we're starting to get, is anybody any questions now at this stage? Is anybody any, Joanne, brilliant. Is anybody any questions? How did you find that? How did you find that content? I know I could probably talk for hours on it, but I think it's important there. Okay, all right. Nobody's any questions. You're all very shy tonight. Brilliant. Okay, so if you like that, if you'd like to take this in the next step further, if Joanne's too pumped to sleep now, I know Joanne, you'll be Googling for Ireland now and double checking. Good, Mia, brilliant. Look, if you're into this thing, if you'd like more help, if you'd like to bust through those limiting beliefs, if you'd like your plan, if you'd like to check your non-negotiables, if you'd like to get rid of the self-doubt, if you'd like to get rid of your abundance blocks, yeah, Suzanne, if you'd like that, and Aisling, if you like that, then join me on the workshop, the boot camp, I always call it the workshop, the boot camp, the mindset boot camp, which we will be doing this at a much deeper level. So it's not just information, it's actually how to bust through your blocks, how to bust through your how, tapping into your passion, tapping into your purpose. And at the end of this workshop, at the end of this boot camp, you'll come out with a plan, with an absolute plan of what you're doing. Yes, Joanne, I'm excited to see you there. There's a few that I have seen on the thread that's joining me on the bootcamp, so I'm really excited for that. So the bootcamp, Joanne, you will come away with a plan, an absolute plan of your why, of where you're going, of what you want out of life. You'll come out with a plan, you'll come out with your dream, and you'll come out without your limiting beliefs. You'll have those busted through. You'll come out without all of that good stuff. You'll come out without all of those limitations, and you'll come out with an absolute plan of where you're going and what you're doing. And if you think you're pumped now, you'll not be half as pumped. You're not as half pumped here as you will be on that day, because we've guest speakers. We've Julie from Transformational Coaching. We have a few others that I can see on here too that just I have to confirm. So we're going to have this amazing high vibe environment where we are busting through our beliefs, we're busting through our negativity, we're creating a plan for our future, and we're setting ourselves alight. So if that's what you want this September, because September is the new January, then join me. There are places available still. I'll put the link up above this, and join me and the team of amazing women. And we're really going to bust this out. It'll be fantastic. This is one of the most excited I've been about a workshop or an event that I've done. The tickets, you buy 2 tickets. The first ticket it's £50 for the place. It's a full day. And that's the workshop and the plan. And then if you want to take the plan further and come and do coaching with me, then there's another ticket for that. So after the workshop, after the boot camp, you come then and join me in a small group where we kind of really bust through. We take that plan and we develop it even further. And we develop some of the limitations that you're having. We develop, and I work with you one-to-one. The workshop or the boot camp itself is filled with live coaching. So I'm going to be there that day to pulling out, doing live coaching sessions with you, and doing just kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of the limiting beliefs that you have that are holding you back. So if you're interested in that, then please join me. It's going to be fantastic. I don't think there's too many places left at this stage, but I will put the link up and you can join us, and I'm so excited. Is anybody any questions? Is anybody anything that they'd like to ask, or is anybody anything that they would like me to go through again or talk about? Or what time of the evening is it? I don't even know what time it is. It's probably bedtime for everybody. So if you let me know if there's any questions about the bootcamp, if there's any questions about what we'll be covering on the bootcamp, if there's any questions about any of the content that we covered here tonight, then let me know. I would love to know. Hi, Patricia McCafferty. Oh God, is it? Is it 10 to 10? My God. Gabriel is asking what day it is. Gabriel, I feel about the same myself. Okay, brilliant. So, nobody's any questions. You're all very shy. Okay, I shall see you all if you can make it at the boot camp, and I will put the link up for you, and you can get it all there. So good night for now. Thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure as well. It was really lovely to have everybody, and I hope you got as much out of that I did. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now, guys. Bye. Bye.